today we are going to explain a little bit about the Congress. The name of the Congress was Applying 21st Century Skills in EFL Classrooms. The first plenary was about the global Englishes by Michael Schwartz. In this presentation, he mentioned the impact of the spread of English around the world and also what is translingualism and what is mean for living, working, and living in a 21st century. The translingualism are work Englishes in the past wide area, challenge, and opportunity. When we recognize a translingualism on a daily basis, particularly on contact zone, and meaningful communication involves a multiple resource like semantic, linguistic, sign, or pragmatics. He mentioned that there are 24,000 students from Mexico and Central America study in USA. He mentioned that the people need for acquire a learning is a classroom, a learning context. For example, structure and ordered presentation of second language features such as grammar, vocabulary, and phonology, because all of the things are very important when the students learn a new language, because the grammar is needed for a correct structure of the sentence, and vocabulary is needed for forming a new sentence or speak something, and the phonology is very important because we need to use the correct sound of the word. In corrective feedback may be given frequently. It's very important because the student need to know when they have a mistake and what is the way that they can apply them, or in other way. Don't use the language during the class. All of these characteristics or things are very important, but this one is very, very important because in the classroom is the only side that the students can practice the language that they learn, because all of the students that they have once learn English, and they can improve your skill, practice each other's. But now we are going to talk about the workshop, the Being Cow. In this workshop, she talked about what it means to be a 21st century teacher, and some characteristics that the teacher need to have, and how become the best at 21st century teacher. The characteristics that the teacher need, he mentioned 4 characteristics. The first one was love for learning, because need stay currently, know how to change all lesson plans to be more suitable for today, because sometimes the teacher use the same lesson plan for all of the class, and the student feel boring and don't show interest for the class. And and inspire a student. The teacher needs to be the inspiration for the student, because if the teacher don't show interest for the student learn something new, the student don't show nothing, because don't look anything interest for part of the teacher. And the other characteristic that she's mentioned was the teacher need to be empathetic. This one is very important, because the student need to understand and help all of the necessities and the aspect of the education that the student have. Be collaborative. In this case, the teacher needs to be very helpful, because the student sometimes have a lot of doubts, and they ask the teacher, and sometimes the teacher feel very angry or something like that, and the student don't want to ask something again, because for the reaction that the teacher have when they do something like that. And the last one was be creative. And this one is very important, because if the teacher don't have a creativity for teaching class, the students could be don't show nothing of interest for learning. And if the teacher have a lot of creativity, the student work with a better way and a funny way, because they don't need to do something that they could feel very difficult. And all of those things are very important, because we can learn that we can use a lot of things in a lot of plays or techniques for the teacher, for the students learn better.